All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to this practical explainer. Today we're doing a total, no-fluff, highly targeted breakdown of what it actually takes to physically secure a San Diego yard against coyotes. Look, if you live in the area, you already know coyotes are just part of the deal here. But how we handle them at our property lines, well, it's honestly full of pretty costly misconceptions. So we're going to clear all that up today.
But first, I want to pose a really direct question to you. Is your San Diego backyard actually safe from coyotes? Because, a lot of homeowners look at their perfectly good, sturdy backyard fence and they get this false sense of security. But as we're going to see today, looking at the data and the structural realities from local install experts, what looks like a solid barrier to you might literally look like an open invitation to local wildlife.
So, here's exactly how we're breaking this down. Number 1, coyotes in San Diego backyards. 2, the 6-foot fence myth. 3, denying the climb with coyote rollers. 4, stopping the dig with underground guards. And finally, we'll wrap up with costs and high-risk neighborhoods.
Section 1. Coyotes in San Diego backyards, urban and suburban threats.
Okay, so let's shatter the illusion right now that coyotes are strictly a backcountry problem. They're absolutely not. San Diego County actually has one of the densest urban coyote populations in all of Southern California. And why is that? Well, it's because our geography is totally unique. We have these massive canyon systems cutting right through the middle of really dense residential neighborhoods. Think about it. These canyons act as literal backyard highways for wildlife. And yeah, for sure, you've got high-risk and inland open space areas, places like Scripps Ranch, Tierrasana, Poway, Rancho Bernardo, as well as rural spots like Ramona or Alpine. But here's the thing. Coyotes are routinely documented cruising through canyon fingers in La Jolla and Encinitas too. So coastal, inland, urban, if your property backs up to a greenbelt or a canyon, you literally have a coyote highway just feet from your yard.
Moving on to Section 2, the 6-foot fence myth, why height isn't enough.
Okay, if there's one thing you take away from this, it's this. 6 foot is the baseline, not the finish line, right? Most wildlife pros recommend a 6-foot fence, and conveniently, that happens to match San Diego's standard residential limit before you have to go get a permit. But height alone is not going to stop a coyote. Sure, a 6-foot fence clears the agency minimums, but a determined coyote? They can scale a plain 6-foot fence in literally seconds.
Let's look at why. On the left here, we've got a standard fence. You know the type. Chain link, horizontal support rails on the outside, maybe some heavily textured, rough wood. Now to a coyote, this isn't a wall, it's a ladder. Every single gap in that chain link, every horizontal rail, is a foothold. Because coyotes don't just jump over fences, right? They pull themselves up and they climb. Now contrast that with the right side. We have a solid privacy panel. Think smooth vinyl or tightly fit wood with absolutely no exterior horizontal rails. The goal here isn't just about being tall, it's about denying the paw grip. And honestly, actively denying that climb is the step most builders completely skip over.
Section 3. Denying the climb, coyote rollers, stopping the over-the-top breach.
So what happens when a coyote manages to scramble up a smooth privacy fence and actually gets its paws on that top edge? Well, enter the coyote roller. This thing is brilliant. It's basically a rotating bar, usually made of PVC or a purpose-built metal bracket, and it's mounted along the very top rail. So when the coyote grabs that top edge to hoist its body weight over, the bar just spins. Instead of holding still and giving them a sturdy ledge to push off of, it rolls the animal right back off. It's so simple, but incredibly effective.
And the real beauty of this solution is the efficiency. Retrofitting a roller onto an existing fence is going to cost roughly $8 to $15 per linear foot. It's pretty much universally considered the single most effective retrofit you can do, mainly because it totally solves that climbing problem without forcing you to tear down and rebuild a perfectly good fence below it.
Section 4. Stopping the dig, underground guards. Securing the base.
Now, if you live in San Diego, especially inland, you know our dirt. The soil here is often super loose, sandy, or made up of decomposed granite. I mean, it's an absolute dream for a digging animal. If a coyote realizes they can't climb your newly roller-equipped fence, their very first instinct is going to be to go right underneath it. And trust me, in this local soil, they can excavate under a fence post way faster than most of us would ever expect.
To stop this, we literally have to engineer the ground. You basically have two main options here. Option 1, bury galvanized wire mesh 12 to 18 inches straight down along the entire fence line. Option 2, and this is highly recommended for that extremely loose or sandy San Diego soil, is to angle an L-footer outward, about 18 to 24 inches.
This way, when a coyote starts scratching at the base of your fence, they immediately hit rigid metal mesh instead of just soft dirt. Honestly, skipping this underground step is the #1 reason that otherwise rock-solid fences get breached.
Now, I want you to burn this number into your memory. 4.
4 inches is your absolute maximum clearance limit. Why? Because coyotes are incredibly lean beneath all that fur. They are practically liquid. They are flexible enough to squeeze through structural gaps that you would think are way, way too small to matter. You really need to scrutinize every single seam of your perimeter. The gap under the side gate, the drainage gaps at the bottom of the yard, even that little space where the fence meets the stucco of your house. Because if any of those are larger than 4 inches, you've essentially left the front door wide open. Keep every single gap under 4 inches, no exceptions.
Section 5. Costs and high-risk neighborhoods. Practical realities of upgrading.
All right, let's talk numbers. Here's a complete, no-fluff summary of your budget straight from the local experts. So, a solid 6-foot privacy panel that gives you your baseline climb resistance, and that cost is just built into a standard new install. Now, to stop them from coming over the top edge, the Coyote roller is going to add about $8 to $15 per linear foot. To stop them digging under the fence, that buried wire or L-footer, that adds $5 to $10 per linear foot. And what about keeping those gaps under 4 inches to stop them from squeezing through? Well, that's just a crucial design detail. There's no added material cost for that. You just have to do it right. And as a stark reminder down there at the bottom, chain link alone stops absolutely nothing. It essentially offers zero resistance.
So, what does this all mean for the aggregate cost? If you already have a solid fence and you just want to completely secure the top and the bottom, a total retrofit is going to run you about $13 to $25 per linear foot. But if you're building completely from scratch, a new 6-foot solid privacy fence usually runs $40 to $95 a foot, and then you'll just layer those Coyote-specific upgrades right on top of that base price.
I want to leave you with a great quote from the source material. It says, "A coyote-resistant perimeter and a pet-secure perimeter solve 2 different halves of the same problem." And that really hits the nail on the head, right? This is why making this investment matters so deeply. If you let small dogs or cats use your San Diego yard unsupervised, especially if you're in one of those canyon-adjacent areas, you're relying on that perimeter to keep your pets in and the predators out. Securing your fence handles both sides of that equation at the exact same time. So, here's the thought I really want you to walk away with today. I challenge you. Step outside right after you finish this explainer, look at the outside face of your backyard fence, and answer this honestly. Is your fence actually a barrier, or is it just a ladder for coyotes? By addressing the height, denying the grip, rolling the top, and securing the dirt, you take the control back. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you on the next one.